4 years ago, I started cycling. I did a race called Cobb Lake. It's only 30. It was a Cat 5 race at that time. It was a 35-mile road race that finishes on a real punchy 1-minute climb. And so it has a dirt road right before it, and I can kind of take you through that. That's about a 4-minute section, and then go straight up to asphalt for a 1-minute power climb. The first time I did this race, I was brand new to cycling. I can show you that power file here. I think I was dropped second lap out of 4 or 5 laps. I didn't finish. The hill absolutely destroyed me. My FTP was about 245 at the time. Weight was probably 175. I started cycling because I was way overweight. And I started running first. Typical story. Started running. Running hurts too bad. Ride your bike as a counter thing. Then you fall in love with the bike. Old story. Happens to, I think, about everybody. And so I'm 40 years old, and I've moved up to Cat 3 at this point. Only as a master's. I did 4s last year. Here's my problem, is training. I have the hardest time sticking to a plan. But I think I want to do it. This is just going to be a 3-month series and a vlog of how I get to Cobb Lake in 3 months, 4 months. I'll see exactly what it is. I haven't built the plan. I don't have any ideas. The second time I was going to do it, I got in a really bad car accident. I got rear-ended at 75 miles an hour with some really good friends, and I was out for the year. Mostly concussive problems. I remember getting back on the bike, physically pretty healed up, and my highest heart rate I've ever seen is like 178. After this car accident, 3 months later, I tried to get back on the bike. My heart rate hit 199. And it was just clear signs my body and brain was not healed up yet. And so that was kind of a rest year. So I sat and watched my friend Corey race. I have a couple videos of that. And I was in tears because that was going to be my revenge race. And I lost that entire year. And then last year, I just got super sick. I've had some health problems as far as immune system, where I train not even that hard. Any training at all sometimes has pushed me over to like months of sickness. And so last year again, I was dropped second lap. That year ended up being a really good year. I got healthy and took second place like 3 times and third and fourth a bunch. Never won. And so I haven't won a race ever. I've placed well. I moved out of Cat 4 in 1 year. It was a big accomplishment for me. I am not the smartest bike rider. FTP right now, functional threshold power, that's supposed to be what you can hold, the power in wattage that you can hold for an hour. If you can get 95% of that, I think it's a pretty accurate number. If you can pull 95% out every single day, I think it's a pretty accurate number. That is kind of the gold standard for cycling. Most of you are going to know what that is, but it's a measurement in wattage of what you can hold for an hour, and then you get the rest of your training zones out of that. And so here's Cobb Lake this year is going to be a 50-mile race. It's going to go up the hill. It's because it's a track. It's not a track. It's a circuit. It goes up the hill probably 4 or 5 times and finishes on the hill. The dirt road's the absolute killer because it's pretty loose gravel and the draft is non-existent. It's at like a 1% grade for about 5 minutes, and then you pitch onto this 1 minute, just 8%, 9% power climb for the finish. I'm not good at any of this. And I've had struggles with my weight as well. I'll show you a picture of where I started. I'm doing a lot better, but as a 40-year-old and just not disciplined eater, I got love handles. I got things that are not a big deal for any other 40-year-old, except for when you're trying to be a cyclist. And so Cobb Lake is going to be the goal. So let's get to the next point. Training. What does training look like for me? There's 2 rides in my area called TTH, Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's a fast race group ride. It's way, a lot of people there are a lot better than me. But the great thing about a ride like that is you can just hang in, learn some skills. That's most of my training, and then long ride on Saturdays. I don't love Trainer Road. Because here's the thing, I've seen so many people with like a 300 and whatever, and it's not just one, it's multiple people of these like 290 to 310 FTPs, And out on the road, they don't survive. They don't do well. And so the sweet spot base, and then the problem with sweet spot is it's hard almost every single day. So if you go outside and do a TTH ride or a hard ride, that whole week's kind of shot. Where with like a polarized training, you can put those fast group rides into your hard day and then go back. The zone 2 rides are a lot harder than people think, in my opinion. The discipline to stay in zone and then to actually ride for 3 hours is really tough. And a lot of people don't have that time. I have 8 to 10 hours a week that I can ride. I have a really hard time staying healthy for that. And so we're going to try a new diet. My goal is to win this race though. And so I don't know, you guys can maybe help me what training plan I'm supposed to use, what I should use. I'm not going to do trainer road, sweet spot at least. I heard they had a polarized plan. I can look at that. Cam Nicholas, I believe, he's the Australian YouTuber. I've kind of talked to him a little bit about coaching. The problem I have with coaching is it's really expensive, and they're not actually coaches. They're plan writers. Unless you're paying $500-600 a month, they're not invested into your wins. They're just invested into your money and writing you a plan, and they can do well at that. But like the coach of the Patriots, Bill Belichick, cares if the team wins. Like, he's very deeply invested in the team's winning. This isn't true with cycling coaches. They're very much just a plan writer, really. They have, and a lot of them, it's a self-proclaimed genius job where it's like, what gives you the credentials to be a cycling coach? Oh, I've been riding for 15 years. That's good. Oh, I've done a ton of research. Unless you have someone with a degree from one of these universities that really specify this, and you've gone into a PhD to get this stuff, it's really hard to actually know what it is. And so it's hard to really know who to trust as far as coaching. And then you can't have the knowledge side, but you got to understand you're just hiring a plan writer. You're not hiring someone that is invested into your winning, which that camaraderie is a big deal, man. And so it's really hard to figure out, but I got to do a plan. I got to stick to one. Like I said, my FTP right now, my functional threshold power, I want to say is 270, and I weigh 175. That's enough not to win. That's enough to be competitive, to do a lot. I can't ride away from a field ever. I'm really good at 30-second power. I'm a long-distance sprinter at best. I'm not a short, snappy sprinter. I think I just weigh too much for that. Max sprint, the top numbers you see for split seconds are the 1250 range. The 5 seconds are a lot closer to 1,000, maybe even 900. But I can hold out 30 seconds for a really long time of just pure power. And so this whole journey is going to be about getting ready for Cobb Lake and not burn out and not get sick and show up on the starting line and do a great job. My number one fear in making this YouTube video and starting these vlogs is it's going to be my daily journey from now until that race. I don't exactly know what the content's going to be, but I need some accountability for a training plan and for to stick to a plan, because I'm horrible at that. Because I'd rather just go ride with friends. Like, who wouldn't? And you get fast doing that. But you see these massive gains that people get in FTP. And FTP really matters. It's how fresh you are for the sprint or at the end. Or what you can close, you know. And so I don't care what your sprint is. If you're absolutely throttled and your max heart rate's 175 and you're jumping into your sprint at 172 because it's been there for 5 minutes, you're not going to have it, man. And so someone with even a much lower sprint but higher FTP is going to absolutely destroy you just because they got the lungs and the power left. And so it's not about what you have, it's what you have left at the end of a race. And so those are the things I'm going to be taking into that. There's another point. FTP is not everything to racing. We've had this conversation with friends, and something I say all the time is just training FTP to be a good bike racer is like saying, I'm going to go be a basketball player and then go into your basement and work on your vertical jump 5 days a week. That has nothing to do with basketball, really. And so I know bike racing, there's a lot more to it. It's a way bigger head game. It's a chess game, absolutely a chess game in there. And your pieces are only as good as your fitness, though. You can walk in there with 3 queens, and you'll probably have a checkmate at the end of that. Just due to the fact that you have 3 queens. But I've seen 3 queens lose quite a bit because they don't know how to play their pieces. If you don't understand the game, you're not going to win. That's the bottom line. So we're going to focus on race tactics, I think, through this. And then a training plan, and then what it takes to peak at the right time. My long-term goal is Cat 2 next year, and that's to win some races. But right now, I just want to focus on the first race of the year, and that's Cobb Lake.